Hi, hello, it's Nikki, and welcome to my messy bookshelf. Today I'm here to share my weekly reading wrap-up. I guess my bi-weekly reading wrap-up. I do intend going forward to start doing this weekly again. I've been doing it every 2 weeks, and I think I have enough that I'll be doing in the next few weeks that I'll be able to do a weekly wrap-up. I am joined today by Flan, my almost 15-year-old Chihuahua. I recently got a new desk chair that is wide enough for her to sit next to me because she always wants to be on my lap. So you will be seeing her a lot more often. My pit bull is over here pouting because he can't fit on the chair with us, but it's neither here nor there. I'll stop rambling. So I did finish 3 books, and I am working on another few books, so I just felt like sharing those with you today. So the first book that I finished was Midnight in Chernobyl by Adam Higginbottom. This book was very fascinating. I will say the first several chapters were pretty dry, but they were necessary. So for about the first 7 chapters, we're learning about nuclear fission. We are learning about how the city of Pripyat, which was right outside of the Chernobyl nuclear station, we were learning about how it came to be and how they designed it to be a place for the workers of the plant itself. So a lot of details, a lot of different people that we're meeting, and, I don't speak Russian, so all the names were a little bit difficult because there were quite a few people. I think it was chapter 8 when we finally got to the evening of the events that took place. And once that happened, it was pretty fast-paced. I knew about this, and it's always been a topic that fascinated me, but there were so many details that I had no idea about. And obviously we didn't know here in the West many of the details because a lot of them were hidden at the time. So we get a lot of background information on the government and essentially the cover-up that went into this whole event. There were things I didn't know, such as the fact that they brought the other 3 reactors back online after the events took place. Insane to me. The sheer amount of heroism that took place during this event is staggering. There were so many people who were just running into the fire, figuratively and literally, to save the plant and to save the city of Pripyat. I didn't know a lot about the evacuation that happened in the city and how long it took them to actually do that. So it was a very fascinating read. Most of the second half of the book is just them still trying to deal with all of the chain reactions that took place when the nuclear reactor melted down. But yeah, it was very fascinating. Like I said, it was pretty chunky, but a lot of the last part is bibliography, so a little longer than some nonfiction that I typically read, but it was still very enjoyable, and I did enjoy that it had pictures in 2 different sections, and getting to put a face to the name of some of these people was very nice. So yeah, I recommend it. If you're interested in Chernobyl, it's definitely worth a read. So I finally finished that. The other book that I finished was The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, and I'm so glad that I picked this book up. I loved this book. This book was exactly what I was looking for in that moment, and I was looking for something, sort of scandalous, but with beautiful writing. And this book delivered. And in this book, we are following a young man who is on the verge of marrying the perfect woman, the perfect match. They were both very high up in society in New York City. This book takes place in the 1870s, and, they're considered a very suitable match. And just the main character starting to look around him and realize all of the unfair sort of things that society places on them. And it was very interesting to see it through his eyes. So he meets a rather unsuitable woman that is related to his fiance, and she helps him to question the things around him. And I don't want to spoil it because, you know, there is a love triangle, but I don't think that really spoils it. That's pretty much a given. Yeah, I loved it. It really made me think of how long it took for those kinds of expectations to go away, you know, because we don't have, we have expectations today, but not the same sorts of expectations that they had. So very intriguing. It was very readable. Great. I loved it. And I think I might actually say that out of the 3 novels set in New York of Edith Wharton's, I think this might be my favorite one. I did read The House of Mirth and The Custom of the Country a few years ago, and I think this is my favorite now. House of Mirth, probably a close second. I need to give that one a reread now, being a little more mature than I was when I read it first. But yeah, I loved it. So highly recommend that one, and it's relatively short, so it was very quick to read. The next book that I finished was actually a middle grade. I wasn't sure if it was a middle grade when I first started reading it, but it is. And that's The Last Cuentista by Donna Barba Higuera. And this book is one that I tried to read last year and put down. It wasn't the right time or place, but this is a dystopian novel, and we are following I want to say she's younger. She's not quite a teenager. I think she's like a prepubescent girl named Pedra, and her family are given the opportunity to leave Earth on a very fancy spaceship because her family is scientists. And not a spoiler at all, because it happens very quickly on in the book, there is a comet headed towards Earth, a very famous comet that's headed towards Earth, and it is anticipated that Earth will be destroyed. So certain people are given the opportunity to get on this ship and travel to another planet, and they are basically put into what do you call it, suspended animation. They're put to sleep for a couple hundred years while they get there. Actually, it was more like 400 years. And there are people that are assigned to care for the sleeping individuals on the ship. When Pedra wakes up, she is surprised to learn that she doesn't know where her family is, and the original plan has changed, and she is the only one who remembers Earth. So it was very, very sweet. It's all about Pedra with the desire to be like her abuelita, who sadly was not able to join them on the ship. And she remembers her abuela's stories and all kinds of Mexican folklore stories that her grandmother used to tell her. And she wants to pass on these stories. So that's essentially what the book is about. Her trying to figure out what happened since they left Earth, and trying to pass on the stories of Earth. So it was lovely. It was lovely. I am so glad that I finally picked it back up, and I plan on reading the next one. And there is a 3rd book coming out, I think in June of this year. So I loved it. Highly recommend. It kind of, like I said, I wasn't sure if it was a middle grade because it wasn't quite as juvenile in the writing the way some other middle grade is. So yeah, definitely worth a read. It was very well written, and yeah, I look forward to getting back into that world. Now we are moving on to the things that I am currently reading, and I am reading Rare Tongues by Lorna Gibb. I made a little bit of progress in it, but once I finished the Midnight in Chernobyl book, I had kind of had enough of nonfiction for a little while, so I have been just reading a few pages at a time. And the other book that I am reading is The Assassin's Apprentice, and I finally picked this up. This is by Robin Hobb, and I have heard so many things about this over the years, and I have been searching for a fantasy to sink my teeth into because I am always disappointed when I read fantasy. So I think this might be what I am looking for. So far, I am not too far. I'm on chapter 3, so we're still early on, but the writing is excellent. I am already invested in our main character, very much so. So that's a good sign. And the world seems to be... I haven't learned too much about the world, but I have kind of gotten a sense of what the world is like. So I am looking forward to diving deeper into this. And yes, I love a, sort of chosen one kind of trope most of the time. And I think it's done rather well here. Like I said, only chapter 3, but so far so good. And then here we come to my dilemma. If you have watched my March plans, you probably already know what I'm gonna show you, but sometimes I don't make the best decisions. I'll be the first to admit that. So I have here a couple of bricks of books, and the first one, I don't even know why I decided to pick this one up now. I picked it up and started reading, and I was like, oh, I'm in for this. I am all in. And that is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I feel like I am in for such a treat here because I am only, I think, 4 chapters in. Yeah. And already, I feel like I'm in for an adventure, a grand adventure. So I think I'm gonna keep reading this. I think this is going to be my pick for March of the Mammoth. So yes, I started it the end of February, but that's okay because I will not be done with this by March. So I think this is gonna be my March of the Mammoths pick. And yeah, we're following a sailor who is, from what I can tell, a very wonderful young man. And he is wrongfully imprisoned. And like I said, I am on chapter 4, and I already know who the villain is going to be because already I have a sense of some of these characters, and I already can't stand a couple of these characters, and I already like our main character. So, yeah. It's very, surprisingly for how old this book is, very readable as well. So it seems like I am off on a grand adventure, and I think that I'm probably going to stick with this one. I think I'm going to actually document my time with this book the way I did with Moby Dick because I feel like I'm going to have a lot of feelings about this book. And then, for whatever reason, I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know. I picked up another brick. And that is The Stand by Stephen King. Just because I've had it in my mind for a while that I want to read my first Stephen King, and everyone says if you like dystopian novels, The Stand is a good book, so it's been in my mind, and so I picked it up. And I've only read the prologue in the first chapter, but I was like turning pages, and yeah. I don't think it's possible for me to continue both of these for March of the Mammoths, but I'm gonna go as far as I can get. I may save The Stand for Big Book Summer, or, I may continue it. I don't know, but this is what I have going on right now. And yeah, I don't make the best decisions all the time, so, but that is my dilemma. I do plan on finishing The Assassin's Apprentice. Rare Tongues, like I said, I was a little tired of nonfiction, but I have been reading about 10 or 12 pages a day, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that is what I have been up to. Again, I plan on starting to make weekly wrap-ups instead of bi-weekly wrap-ups. So yeah. Thank you for being here. And before you go, I would like to address my changing background. I am in the middle of a little library makeover, and I have been moving books around and adding new shelves, which I did film some of that, so that will be coming out soon. And you will likely see it change some more. But yeah, I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I know I'm rambling today, but like, I thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.